Players build their best deck over a series of tournament rounds in the game Challengers. Thank you for joining me here at Tantrum House Studio D. I'm Kevin Delp. Challengers is a deck building tournament game for 1 to 8 players that takes about 30 to 45 minutes to play. It's published by ZMan, a division of Asmodee. They sent us this copy to review, so let's dive in. At the beginning of the game, you choose 5 decks to shuffle together. The base game comes with 6 to choose from. It's recommended to leave out the space deck for your first game. You'll shuffle all the A cards together, B cards together, and C cards together. Players choose a tournament plan and receive the associated start cards. The number of tournament plans available is determined by the number of players. You'll be playing head-to-head throughout the game against different opponents. Sit down at the map color that matches the tournament you'll play. For example, if this is your plan, you'll sit at the purple mat across from your opponent. Here's a quick overview on gameplay. Challengers is played over 7 rounds. Each round is divided into the deck phase and then the match phase, collecting trophies and fans along the way. After 7 rounds, the 2 players with the most points play one final match to see who the ultimate winner is. Let's look a little bit more in detail at the different phases. During the deck phase, you'll look at your tournament plan. It tells you what deck you can pull cards from and how many you can keep. You'll be adding those cards to your starter deck. For example, the first round here, you'll be keeping 2 cards from the A deck. Then comes the match phase. A player will begin, usually as the person who has won the highest trophy. They turn over their top card and immediately claim the flag. Then the opponent reveals their top card. If it's equal to or more in value than the one who has the flag, then that person loses the flag and gives it to the opponent. If the value of the card is not enough, then continue to reveal cards, adding them together until the value equals or exceeds what is needed. The losing team moves their cards to the bench, stacking any matching ones. The winner stacks their cards in a pile, so only the top card is showing. Then you face off again. But the opponent just has to win the flag from the card that's on top of their opponent, not from the total value of all the cards in the stack. Play continues until someone wins the trophy. A player loses if they cannot place a card on their bench because it's all filled up, or they run out of cards to play against their opponent. But don't worry, there's no player elimination in this game. All players play all the rounds. After the bout, while you are waiting for the next round, you can prepare your deck with a new deck phase and see where your next match is, and you're going to see that on your tournament plan card. You look at what deck you can pull cards from. Sometimes you can choose to either pull from one deck or another. It all depends on what round you are in the game. The cards get better from deck to deck, so A's are good cards, then B's and C's are the best cards. And during the deck phase, you can trash as many cards as you want from your deck. It's really up to you how you want to customize your deck. After 7 rounds, the game's over and the top 2 point getters do one final battle to see who the ultimate winner is. They don't add any more cards to their deck, but they can get rid of some if they want to before the match. Now this game is more than just a game of war where you're seeing who has the higher value cards. Many of the cards have special text on them that will activate at certain times or in certain ways. So it's more like a deck building game. Let's go over a few of the types of actions on those cards. There's some that say during the attack, that's when you're the attacker. From the bench, they'll activate when those cards are on the bench. In flag possession means that it's the card that's on top that actually captures the flag. Flag loss is if that card had the flag and then loses it. You do what the card says. And some, you're just going to activate when they're played. Those powers on the cards are really different. Some will let you go through your deck and look for certain cards and put them in certain spaces in your deck. Some will enhance other cards and make them more powerful. Some give you fans. Gaining fans along the way are basically points that you're going to add up at the end of the game. Now I think this is the meat of the game, having fun adding to your deck the cards that you'll be able to synergize together. And if you can find matching cards, that's going to be amazing for your deck because they're going to only take up one bench seat, and that's really helpful. Now with any deck building game, there are some drawbacks. You're shuffling those cards together, so you might not get the cards in the order that you want them. I've had that one card that I need, and it's at the bottom of the pile. Or you're fighting your opponent, and just need like one more point to beat them, and you pull a 5 or a higher card. And it's helpful since they have to beat that higher point card on the next turn, but it can sort of feel like you're going through your deck too fast and you might not have enough cards to win. One critique for me is the box cover. I personally don't like the font type with the black lettering, but here's where I say, don't judge a book by its cover. The game is fun to play. I really do like the components in the game, the neoprene mats that come in the game. They feel real good and work well with the gameplay. And they roll up real nice and fit back in the box. Everything actually fits in the box well. I would recommend, though, keeping the box horizontal when storing. Things can shift around if you tip it up on its end. Now, currently, there are 6 themed decks in the base game. The Castle, Fun Fair, Outer Space, Film Studio, Haunted House, and Shipwreck. Each theme has characters and items that match that theme. I really like that about the game. It makes the game fun from game to game, so there's a lot of variation and variability going on in the game. I assume if Challengers does well, then they could come out with new expansion decks to add to the game. I think there's room in the box for that. Now, there are rules for playing if you have an odd number of people playing. There's the robot deck, and it's played each round to simulate an opponent. I think the game works well at all player counts, but I personally like it best at those higher player counts with an even number of players so you can pit your deck against a bunch of different opponents throughout the game. Now, people who enjoy deck building type games will probably really like Challengers. It's on the lighter side of that, so maybe appeal more to families and casual gamers. Each round plays pretty fast, so it doesn't feel like a long game. And if you want to see a playthrough, check out our house party event that we did a few weeks ago where we played a 6-player game of Challengers. I'll put a link right up there. Now, I hope that gives you a good understanding of Challengers and what I thought about the game. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer them. And thank you to ZMan and Asmodee for sending us this copy to review. Let's spread the love of board gaming.